People always tell me, be careful who you love. Be careful who you choose. No. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. And I'm too smooth for you.
Oh, come on.
Sorry, I made a couple crimes along the way.
Police!
I need to be handcuffed for saying that. Oh. This may stay in the grave. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm keeping all this in the grave. This is starting out great. All right, let's get into this. This is a movie review. Hello. So you don't know me, but you will. My name is Alicia. I go by FICA Vision. I am a cinematographer in the making. I produced one film. I am a child at heart. I thought it would be a great idea to start giving my ideas about movies and my thoughts, and because I have a lot of them. But that's not important. You'll learn that along the way. What we're here to talk about is the one, the only, Michael Jackson. Genuinely, I was going to start this in August. I'm not even kidding. I was going to start this in August, but I was so inspired by Michael Jackson in the whole movie that was way too short for me that I was like, you know what? Let's get into it. Michael Jackson, the life of the legend, King of Pop, standing on that. He is the King of Pop. Anybody else could fight anybody else on it. He's the King of Pop. Michael Jackson movie premiered April 24th. So, for those who don't know, Michael Jackson is a singer and songwriter, an artist, a visionary, a movement, and he has been a part of people's lives since he started music. And there is a biopic film dedicated to his life and his legacy, reenacted by his own nephew. And we're going to get into that. So first off, I'm going to give you some facts, because why would you go into anything without knowing information? I definitely wouldn't. So you're not going to on my channel. We're smart here. We're educated here. So we're going to talk about some facts. Michael Jackson movie, 2-hour movie. It goes into the life and time between 1966, when he was 8 years old, starting out in the Jackson 5 up until his Bad World tour in 1987. And the writer being John Logan. You may have known some of his movies. He created Gladiator, Skyfall. If you like yourself some action movies, stuff of that nature, he's done his work for sure. And then the director being Antoine I'm gonna mess this name up. Fuqua. It's pronounced in a nicer way. But he made movies such as Equalizer and Muhammad Ali. So he's already understanding the biopsy when he made it with Will Smith, right? Because I personally have a Letterboxd. And for those who don't know, a Letterboxd is just a different app that people go to, give their opinions on the movies freely, publicly. It's like IMDb, but more social friendly. Continuing rating of 3.6 out of 5 stars. The budget for this, $155 million, 38 Rotten Tomatoes, already making $39.5 million opening weekend on Friday, and surpassed already Straight Outta Compton and Bohemian Rhapsody. I will say this, you cannot judge opening weekend. Give it a couple weeks, because scores change. And I know the power of influence can be so strong, but we here on this channel, at least, have our own thoughts, okay? We have our own opinions. We check stuff out before we make a judgment. Yes, if something looks low rating, it's easy to think, oh my gosh, this must be terrible. Give it your own opinion first. I went through the IMAX, paid the fine. It was a hefty one. I don't mind it. It was worth it. We got an incredible cast. We got Nia Long as the mom. We got Coleman Domingo as Joe Jackson. And we got Jafar Jackson, who is Jermaine Jackson's son, one of the brothers of the Jackson 5 son, kid Michael Jackson. Giuliano Valdi. And the lawyer, of course, we got to give huge props to Michael Jackson's lawyer, John Branca Miles Teller. Jafar did his thing. He did his thing. You did your thing, Jafar. Aladdin is I'm just kidding. The choreography. I mean, Jafar went through a lot. He had literally danced until his feet cried.
My feet would bleed or them go numb. There's so many times I would wake up sore, be like, should I go rehearse? Should I just take a break and let the body relax? Then the other part of my mind would be like, no, what would Michael do?
Oh, yeah. He went deep. Respect that. So you got to have to give him props for that. Being his first movie, Jafar Jackson acting. How? The same situation with Sinners with Miles Catton. You would never know it's their first time doing any of this. I mean, come on. Do I need to say more? And the fact is, he did say in one of his interviews how he felt this. It was such a spiritual experience about how he was dancing, had mirrors, and trying to really embody full holistic way of Michael Jackson. Had he felt his presence in several moments, and he even felt it during the movie. And Jafar did such an incredible job that his family was brought to tears. Obviously, his hard work paid off. This was years in the making. I'm not going to give anything away. I refuse to spoil things unless it's been out for a long enough time where if you didn't watch it, that's a personal problem. I'm sorry. You should have been in the movie theater. We need to get more butts and seats. You should have watched it. And you know people support, especially black people. Love my black kings and queens, man. We support these movies day out, so it's going to be sold out. So you may have to wait till the next weekend, which is fine. If you don't watch it, well, we'll also say, stay off the internet. Do not go on the intranets to just scope. I personally think if a big movie is coming out, any movie that is huge and global, stay off the internet until you watch that movie. Otherwise, you will be spoiled. I'm sorry. The internet is so easy with the memes and the shortcuts, and they also give out the information. I wouldn't even say look at interviews from the actors and the people themselves. It just will spoil it. I didn't even know how to pronounce this man's name. I thought his name was Jacoby for so long.
What?
Just because I didn't want no information going into this before I saw the movie. So stay off the internet before you see the movie. That's just a suggestion from me to you. The movie, both incredibly inspiring, but on the other hand, incredibly criticized. Again, we're going within the short time frame. Michael Jackson's life is so complicated. There's so many different layers to him. There's so many different things that, we don't know. And we've also seen throughout time that they could have dwelled deeper in. But the main ones being the abuse allegations, things of that nature, because there's a lot of NDAs that were signed. And obviously not everyone can talk about certain things that went through the legal process. They had to really condense it to what was the most they could get out of it, which is his complicated relationship with his father. That was the main gist of this movie, was Michael Jackson coming to a point where he wanted to be solo and away from, went into his life, his upbringing, what he went through, and what he had to grow into be and becoming that megastar we all know and love and others criticize. But overall, it was limited, but it was heavily family focused. And I will say this, I saw this with my mom and we had a blast. It was like watching a concert in a theater. It was so fantastic. I could not stop dancing. So I did mention, because apparently Coleman Domingo had his own kind of perception of Joe Jackson.
And I think that, Joe is from a very different generation as well. And I understood that by even examining my own stepfather. I know that Joe is shrouded in a lot of court of public opinion. And I thought my job as an artist is to bring out the humanity in Joe, which I do know. And really, it was beautiful to have conversations with Antoine and with Jafar as well, especially to know, how was he as a grandpa? Well, how did he make you laugh? How did you feel? All these different stories. So I got a real good composite of who he was.
And one thing I do not care for when it comes to biopic movies, and this is just my opinion, I don't care how people want to retwist the way a person is. Now, we may not know the depths of someone's life. Obviously, we don't. But when you know enough to be like, this person, we should understand the basics of his personality, of how he is, of how he can play a traumatic effect in someone's life, but they want to make it to him being a kinder or misunderstood person. No, be accurate, okay? Be accurate. Make sure that if you are telling a story, the pieces are there, right? So one of my hesitations that they were going to soften Joe Jackson's character, like, don't. Because if Joe Jackson abused the kids, made it hard for them to live a childhood life to make sure they came into famedom, ensure that that is shown. Right? We can understand him as being a father, initially protecting his children and all these different things. There's different layers to people. People are gray. We're not black and white. We are definitely layered, but in the sense that his life was not something of a happy childhood all the time, that should definitely be expressed. Hey, editing Alicia here. Just wanted to mention that Coleman Domingo did a fantastic job playing Joe Jackson and actually did depict the character accurately, where he didn't shy away from the abuse that Michael Jackson and the Jackson brothers went through, as well as Nia Long's character being the wife of Joe Jackson and the mother of the group. And it was fantastically depicted, at least from what we know from his life already. So did wanted to put in props for Coleman for executing and delivering a fantastic performance, for sure. Honestly, I think even my mom, when she grew up during this era, she even was surprised about some of the things that came out to be. They did get on a lot of topics. They did hint on the things that he went through, accidents. You are aware of like the Pepsi situation, the Victory Tour. They touch on that. The movie, in my personal opinion, was way too short. If they had 16 parts, I'd watch every single one of them. The hard work going into this film, I mean, you kind of just go through a nostalgia period of just knowing the things that you know about Michael and seeing him as a whole person. I mean, there's obviously different documentaries that's been out. I mean, there's one, I believe, with his security detail for the last few years of his life before he passed. Michael Jackson is one of those people where he had already such an impactful life where you followed along with it. No matter how private he tried to be, you know, you kind of already see who he was through his art, through his vision. And even him being a movie buff, I feel like, because I am a movie buff, him being such a person that creates something from his own mind that can be looked differently, oddly, or controversially against the world, but still held so strong into his belief in what he can give to the world. Such a beautiful story that I was like, it's only fitting that my first video would be for Michael Jackson, because he loved movies. His music videos weren't even music videos. They were movies. They were short films created. He had Bad, Martin Scorsese, and Quincy Jones directing, half for music producing, half for movie producing. And I'm still waiting for Quincy Jones' biopic. He's been in so many things. Michael Jackson's life was complicated. But it was beautiful, where he knew what he wanted to give to the world. And he never stopped trying, no matter what he went through, the accidents, the insecurities, the pain, the controversies, gossip. He always had an objective, which was to bring love, to bring joy to the world, to bring music, to bring people together. He was not only iconic in a way where his music touched people, but it was a movement where he touched on topics people wouldn't even touch on today because it's so scary to have an own opinion. He touched on domestic violence, politics, gang violence, humanity, people looking down at you because you have a different life and education that they don't have access to, that he still brought about change and love through his own way. That is something not many people, not many artists nowadays could really do, because it's either chasing the money, chasing the clout, and he chased purpose. And it's such a beautiful tribute to see someone in this light you could never recreate. He is his own person, his own being. He was part of the Jackson 5. He loved his family, and he left a legacy for generations and generations to come. If you are still wearing Halloween costumes of Thriller, I'm pretty sure you already know Michael Jackson is that guy. But I definitely highly recommend it. I'll make a better introduction video, but I just wanted to get my opinion out first of Michael Jackson. It is an incredible movie. He knew who he was, and he wanted the world to see it. So see the movie in theaters. Don't wait till you have it streamed. You know, we need to put butts back in seats. Get the theater. And I say this with my full chest. If anybody in this movie took a paycheck, outside of the ones who can, I don't know if it's only limited to people who are like cast members, not really crew. I don't know yet. But if anybody did not take a chance on getting paid by the box office itself of how much it's earned, what are you doing? Because come on. This is one of those gambles where you do gamble on this movie. You gamble and you will win.
I stand behind it. I guarantee it.
I don't want to make this longer than it needs to be. That is my review. Please go check out Michael Jackson. There was a comment on Letterboxd, and I wholeheartedly agree. If there is a part 2 that's actually being created with more to Michael Jackson's story, since the first of this movie is called Michael, please let the second be called Jackson. Shout out to that person who commented. That is honestly brilliant. My name is Alicia. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, let your light shine. I'm going to try it. Let your light shine for our all to see. FICA vision out.
Wish the world could be a better place. No, not at all. Hopefully, that's what I do with my music, bring happiness to people and to bring joy and some peace in their lives. And Jesus said to love the children and be like children, to be youthful and be innocent and be pure and honorable. He was talking to his apostles, and they were fighting over who's the greatest among themselves. And he said, whoever humbled yourself like this child is the greatest among me. And he always surrounded himself with children. And that's how I was raised, to believe and to be like that and to imitate that. But if I am guilty of anything, it is of giving all that I have to give to help children all over the world. It is of loving children of all ages and races. It is of gaining sheer joy from seeing children with their innocent and smiling faces. It is of enjoying through them the childhood that I missed myself. I was raised on the stage, and that's where I'm comfortable. And everything else is like foreign to me.